Morning all, I'd like to show you another amazing Garry Kasparov game. It was played in Graz 1981. The Graz tournament of 1981 was a team championship, the third World Under-26 team championship, and Kasparov was approaching the age of 18 years old. He actually turned 18 during the event, I believe. This was his game against Arne Duer. So d4 from Garry Kasparov, knight f6 from Arne, c4, e6, and now Kasparov plays knight c3, so he's not minding bishop b4, which is actually the most common move here, but black can just play d5 as well. That's another popular move, just to get a queen's gambit declined. Knight f3, bishop e7, bishop g5, standard stuff, queen's gambit declined territory. Now black played h6, and an interesting departure from the main move. The most common move is actually just to put the bishop on h4 here, but Kasparov commits to bishop takes f6, so we're talking like over 5,000 games with bishop takes f6, and about 679 with bishop takes f6. So slightly unusual to give up the bishop pair voluntarily in this position. Black took back, and now again a slightly unusual move indeed. Usually we'd be looking to put the bishop on d3 and the queen on c2 to form a battery, but here, is there any point to the battery? The pawn's on h6. Maybe the queen can be better placed somewhere else. Kasparov thought so, and he actually played queen d2. In fact, more popular is even just to wait with rook c1, but queen d2 was played. It looks slightly unusual. Black now played c6, and now a really aggressive move, showing aggressive intent. Kasparov played h4. So his intention with h4, it looks as though he's going to castle queenside now. He hasn't moved this bishop, so he's ready to castle queenside. Let's put on a kapitza here. So one thing about this position, that early capture on f6 means actually that bishop could be a target now to g4, g5 with tempo to try and rip open the h-file. And in fact, after knight d7, we do see the rather crude looking g4. Crude but very effective. What does actually black do in this particular position? It's difficult to address this attack. Black tried here rook e8. Now Kasparov castled queenside. So the immediate threat is really just g5 to get things open there, to get that g line. Black played b5, trying to get his own kind of counter-attack. But it is a pawn sacrifice, and is it actually justified to try and get a quick attack? Well, white took on b5 and took again. Kasparov took time to take this pawn. Asked black, what is he doing? He's actually created a pin anyway on d7, which could be useful here. And for example, if the bishop moved, then g5 is going to be more effective than it was, because we're eyeing d7 in this position, which could be useful. So after bishop takes b5, it's difficult for black, but rook b8 seems thematically, to open and use the b file in general grounds, but white's trying to tear open the g file, and does so now with g5, sacking a pawn, hg, hg, and black does play bishop takes g5. Now usually taking a pawn like this with your king behind it is not a recommendable idea, but how does white prove his attack? Well, Kasparov took on g5, bringing the queen to g5, and now an important tempo gain, f4. Not only hitting the queen, but now the queen can switch to h2 here to threaten queen h8 mate. Things are going bad for black. If we just rewind for a moment, in this position it was already pretty critical though, so you'd have to actually rewind further, maybe to even just rook b8. Black's position after rook b8 may be on the critical side. The engine suggested here bishop e7 to be able to answer g5 with h5. trying to keep everything closed, but it's still a great position for white. So things have gone wrong a bit earlier. But let's get back to the attacking position now. It's pretty stark. Queen f6, queen h2, threatening mate in 1. So black parries that with g6. Now there's a really fantastic move played in this position. I wonder if you can guess it. It's a crunching line opening move. So if I gave you 10 seconds here, what would you play with white? We might want to pause the video. Okay, f5, tearing open lines. Now if e takes, then knight takes d5 looks strong, but also maybe flinging in the check first and then knight takes d5 seals that e7 exit. If queen g7 here now, white can actually play just queen h8, just winning the rook on e8. Black's pieces are not even connected on the back row here, so they're kind of loose. So that's kind of disaster for e takes. Now for g takes, then that's just a forced mate actually, like this. And now the queen can actually make use of d6 here, blocking e7. And there's a really crushing move here. Knight takes d5. After e takes, just queen takes, knight takes, check, and we're mating black. So this is all pretty crushing stuff. If this pawn is taken with either the e pawn or the g pawn, if the queen takes, then queen h8 is mate. So queen g7 was tried, and now we get f takes e6. So how does black take this pawn now? Well, he took with the f pawn. Doesn't look very nice. He's weakening his king. This pawn chain around his king is disintegrating. Bishop d3 looks good, but rook g1 as well, just eyeing g6. So g6 is the new target now. Rook f8, bishop d3, black having to defend g6. And in this position actually white can win with multiple methods. The position is so crushing here that in fact engine suggests just taking on g6 is quite crushing. Like if bishop takes g6 here, takes, forced check, king f7, rook h7 is winning the queen, and that's a winning game. So Kasparov's already achieved a huge position, but he chooses actually e4 here, which is very good as well, just threatening that e5 to displace the rook. So what can black actually do here? He tries e5, but now knight takes d5, rook f7, and in this position just rook takes g6, splat. If queen takes, then we've got the queen h8. Black resigned here, not surprisingly. The rook can't even deflect this way because we've got bishop takes, so it's end of game. It shows a really crushing attacking style the whole game, and maybe something which is made to look simple, but how many of us would have considered the early taking on f6 in conjunction with queen d2 here? The most usual beaten path in this position was actually rook c1. So this is a very interesting method of play. I mean, the most common move with 893 games, rook c1, but it doesn't facilitate castling queenside. So this is a seemingly fantastic plan for queen d2. And did it offer actually any advantages over the c2 placement? You know, it kind of made the d file a little bit safer, but maybe also on c2 the queen was more of a potential target. It just seemed to have a fantastic flow, this game, for the attack, for just ripping open lines against the black king here, just with the h and g pawns castling queenside. Comments or questions on YouTube? Thanks very much.